If you've been online, even for a little bit over the past couple of months, you've most likely heard of an up-and-coming singer named Chappell Roan. You know, I don't know why I introduce all the topics I discuss like that. I know all of you are online, probably way more than you should be. Don't lie to me. I know you. Well, you know, I don't. Not really. The thing is, I don't know a single one of you. I may interact with you through comments or maybe through an interesting DM you've sent me before. I really hope the person who kept asking to see my feet isn't watching this video, but I don't truly know you. Now, I do think that most of you are normal, healthy, well-rounded individuals, but even at my small size, in terms of following that is, I have had experiences with fans that have truly unnerved me. I won't go into detail here, that's what my Patreon is for, but these experiences made me truly reevaluate how I interact with my followers. It worries me that my egotistical self yearns for a famous status, knowing full well what will come with that. Despite this, it's always bothered me that we, as a society, have almost accepted the extremely negative aspects that come with being a celebrity as just par for the course. Just get used to people showing up at your home. You're not allowed to have privacy ever again. This is what you signed up for, right? As you can tell by the title of today's video, today we will be diving into parasocial relationships and Chappell Roan's overnight success as an example of how dangerous this aforementioned line of thinking can be. No, I don't know you, but you may think you know me. Believe me, you don't. You only see me through a screen. You don't even know where I live. Wait, don't take that as a challenge!
At last. Now I can finally see those pearly white feet of yours.
You might have noticed the term parasocial becoming increasingly more popular within online speak over the past couple of years, but the term parasocial is anything but new. Much like the term gaslighting, which has become co-opted by armchair psychologists. The term parasocial was first coined in 1956 by sociologists R. Richard Wohl and Donald Horton. In Richard Wohl's paper, co-authored by Donald Horton, Mass Communication and Parasocial Interaction, Observations on Intimacy at a Distance, they explore a new type of social interaction between those on a screen and the observer, the audience, the fans. This research article emerging within the 1950s could be tied to the fact that TVs were becoming staples in a lot of American households around this time. One of the striking characteristics of new mass media, radio, television, and the movies, is that they give the illusion of face-to-face relationship with the performer. We propose to call this seeming face-to-face relationship between spectator and performer a parasocial relationship. Para and social combined take on the meaning of a one-sided relationship. You see me on screen, possibly quite often, and maybe even feel some sort of connection with me due to what I choose to share about my life, but in return, I know nothing about you. Most of the time, I don't even know you past your screen name of watermelon emoji, devil's lettuce enjoyer 69 leaf emoji. You know, just as an example. Parasocial relations may be governed by little or no sense of obligation, effort, or responsibility on the part of the spectator. He is free to withdraw at any moment. The interaction characteristically is one-sided, non-dialectical, controlled by the performer, and not susceptible of mutual development. In time, the devotee, the fan, comes to believe that he knows the persona more intimately and profoundly than others do, that he understands his character and appreciate his values and motives. Now, Wohl's article largely focused on these relationships within more traditional media, such as the characters that famous actors play. Take my parasocial relationship with Henry Cavill in The Witcher as an example. It's bad. It's based off of a character in a video game, and even before that, in a series of books that isn't real. But seeing a man who I'm attracted to playing Geralt makes him feel real, and I form a connection with Henry Cavill's image, even though he isn't Geralt, and I don't know him. Richard, Dick if I may, could have never predicted that we would have advanced to the point that we are now in society. I just know that he would be foaming at the mouth to write an article on the state that we are in right now. He would have never lived to see it though, because he died of cancer a year after publishing this article. Anyway, despite that parasociality is probably the worst it's ever been because of social media, and despite the fact that we are probably closer to people that we don't know than ever before, this article is still extremely relevant to our lives today. Whether you know it or not, every influencer, creator, celebrity, or whatnot are all playing characters of themselves for you. I personally exaggerate every part of my personality so that I come across on screen as funnier. Although I am, of course, naturally funny, but you know, hyperbole is is a great comedic device. I also only share about 1% of my life, not even with all of you. In this reality, I'm a character, and my connection with you, while I can control it to some extent, is almost entirely dependent on you. Since some of them are really very intelligent, and all of them are, like the rest of us, strong and weak, good and bad, the facade is maintained only by concealing discrepancies between the public image and private life. The standard technique is not to make the private life an absolute secret, for the interests of the audience cannot be ignored, but to create an acceptable facade of private life as well, a more or less contrived private image of the life behind the contrived public image. Researchers have even gone so far to suggest that people may have had parasocial relationships with pharaohs or deities. I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean, just look at Trump stans, right? In the 20th century, early research on parasocial relationships dissected those of people and soap opera characters and other fictional TV characters. We still don't have a lot of research on parasocial relationships despite how prevalent they become in the age of influencing. The word parasocial has completely infiltrated the internet zeitgeist and become increasingly more serious over the past couple of years. The lines between celebrity and influencer have been completely blurred. It's not just famous celebrities like Jennifer Aniston and Friends who you have a parasocial relationship with, albeit one that is still uncomfortable and probably unhealthy. It also extends to average Joes who are just posting daily vlogs about their lives but happen to be popular for that online. It's the normal person who you think you have full access to, leading you to develop a strange one-sided relationship with them just because they share parts of their lives online. I am not immune from this, let me be clear. I have many strange one-sided relationships with creators on this platform. I watch all of their stuff and am very invested in their lives because I think that they're cool people, but I have to continuously remind myself that I don't know them. I think it might be easier for me personally because I can sort of put myself in their position, maybe not at that exact scale, but I can still kind of understand it, you know? I know very well that they're not sharing everything with me and that we're not friends. They provide content for me that comforts me, maybe makes me feel less alone. You know, we'll get into that more later, but I don't know them beyond that. A lot of people can't draw this distinction in their mind, however, and that's where we come to the subject of today's video, Chappell Roan. Music is such a beautiful thing. I know that it's gotten me out of the deepest pits of hell at times, right? Obviously, when someone's art impacts you on such a personal level, you may feel as though you are personally connected with them, or on the extreme end, entitled to their presence, but you're not. Musicians and artists don't really owe you anything. Now, let me be clear. When I say that they don't owe you anything, I don't mean that you should expect them to be rude or disrespectful to you. I mean, I think every human being at least owes people a little bit of kindness, right? That kind of behavior from an artist would, in my opinion, not be okay at all. Obviously, I hope that artists treat their fans with kindness and appreciation, but in Chappell's case, I don't think that the fans she was targeting in her call-out video were your normal, average, run-of-the-mill fans. I think that a lot of people may be misinterpreting her words in her TikToks, or possibly even misdirecting them at themselves. More often than not, fans who act inappropriately and who are in the category of thinking that they are always entitled to a celebrity's time don't often recognize that they are in the wrong. I'll use myself as an example. I would fucking love to meet Adam Sandler. Like, I would kill to meet this man. But here's the thing, I wouldn't want to ruin his mood by interrupting him on a day where he's clearly not trying to engage with fans. Would I be heartbroken? Fucking yeah, I would. But you know, I respect his human dignity as a person, okay? And I'm not gonna interrupt him if he's trying to have a nice dinner. I need to accept the boundary that he's clearly trying to draw with me, an over-obsessive fan who can recite his entire filmography. That's what we're discussing today, the boundary between fan and fame, and why inappropriate behavior should not be accepted as part of being famous. First, we're gonna need a quick Chappell Roan history course, because her identity as a celebrity figure is not only intriguing, but also extremely relevant to recent events that have ensued. You probably haven't been able to escape Chappell Roan's music lately online. Not saying that listening to it is similar to that of torture, I'm just being hyperbolic, right? You know, escape, I'm trapped, right? Although Chappell has been experiencing crazy mainstream success with her songs topping the charts for weeks on end, she wasn't really an overnight success. Chappell, who is 26, actually started posting covers of songs on YouTube all the way up to 10 years ago using her real name. Her stage name, which developed a few years after she began posting covers, is actually based on her grandfather, Dennis Chappell's name, and his favorite song, The Strawberry Roan. In 2017, she released her first EP, School Nights. In 2020, one of her most popular songs, Pink Pony Club, was released. In fact, there's actually a video of Chappell Roan performing Pink Pony Club to a group of about 50 people in 2021 for the first time. Pink Pony Club, despite the success that it's experiencing now, was not popular at the time of release, and it especially wasn't popular with her record label, Atlantic Records, who ended up dropping her in August of 2020. Her album debut, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, released in 2023, consists of songs that all have well over tens of millions of streams on them. Her newest single, Good Luck Babe, has now over 500 million streams on Spotify alone. More recently, during Olivia Rodrigo's Guts World Tour, Chappell was the opening for a few of her concerts, even performing Hot to Go with Olivia Rodrigo during one of Olivia's concerts in LA. Although Chappell signed her first record deal with Atlantic Records when she was only 17, she never experienced the kind of blow up like she's experiencing right now. "I felt very unprepared," she told Rolling Stone. "I didn't know the consequences of how much I had to sacrifice. I didn't do my senior year. I didn't go to prom. I didn't go to graduation. I missed a lot of what would have had been the end of my childhood to do this job." Chappell's earlier work was a lot more dark and brooding, certainly not the kind of drag, camp, queer type artistic style that her music now represents. Chappell's music would not start to gayify, that's a new term I just came up with, until she would start releasing music as an independent artist. In 2023, she signed with Amusement Records in partnership with Island Records. In a Vox article titled, "Chappell Roan Spent 7 Years Becoming an Overnight Success," the author draws the conclusion that Chappell's recent success could be tied to her distinct persona, which many queer people, especially queer women, really connect with. "The whole project is to honor my 10-year-old self. My whole persona is just me trying to honor that version of myself that I was never allowed to be," she told Paper in June. Before she really started to become known for her music, Chappell had quite a large TikTok following from posting candid videos that a lot of people found funny. This could be part of the reason why, other than the obvious personal connection people form with music, that people feel as though they know Chappell.
It is at the end of the day, just a job. And I don't plan on doing this forever, so I need to just have an identity outside of this and protect myself for when I'm, 20 years from now and I'm not just like burnt out on life.
I think that's what she's really trying to say in her videos. "I'm doing this as an act. It doesn't mean that you know me or I know you," Sally Theron, a professor of psychology at Wesley College in Massachusetts, said. But there's this disconnect where people really think they get her, and then probably that she wants to get them. Of course, people's connection with Chappell could also be due to her upbringing, which she shared was very conservative and anti-LGBTQ. Combine this with where she grew up, a trailer in Missouri, and a lot of LGBTQ folks who have that sort of upbringing may form an even deeper personal connection with her. Me. I'm talking about me. Honestly, there's not a lot of celebrities, let alone queer ones, who are actually proud of their country bumpkin upbringing, and when they are, it always makes me feel seen. Naturally, the next step is to find out her family's social security numbers. One thing I find really interesting about Chappell's persona, which is something that I've noticed within many different celebrities, particularly those who have different marginalized identities, is how she seems almost exempt from criticism, but also receives it more than she probably should. Let me explain. I think what happens a lot with famous people who have different marginalized identities is that they are often criticized way more than their cis, heterosexual, white, etc. peers. They are often criticized for things that their peers are never criticized for, and often this criticism is coming from a place of extreme bad faith. When this phenomena happens, however, these celebrities' fans may find that any and all criticism of their fave is coming from a place of bad faith, even when it isn't. Let me give you an example of this, because again, the way that Chappell has been perceived in the public eye for the past year is extremely relevant to her recent TikToks. We're getting there, guys, I swear. Bear with me. I talk a lot. I'm not edging you on, I swear. As I sat here writing this script, looking for brain rot tweets for this section of this video, I became increasingly incensed. If that comes out right now, just know that it's directed towards the idiots who made these posts, not at you all. This past June, Chappell was asked to perform at the White House, an invitation that she denied. During the governor's ball in New York, she said, "This is a response to the White House, who asked me to perform for pride. We want liberty, justice, and freedom for all. When you do that, that's when I'll come," Roan said. Dressed as a Statue of Liberty, she recited the words that are etched into the base of the statue. "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." That means freedom in trans rights. That means freedom in women's rights. And it especially means freedom for all people and oppressed. It especially means freedom for all oppressed people in occupied territories, she said, which garnered cheers from the crowd. Of course, this sparked discourse on the brain rot website of Twitter because you're not allowed to say anything without people putting words in your mouth, deep-throating you viciously until your esophagus is bruised. Hey, it's happened to me before. Apparently, it was hypocritical for Chappell to call out the Biden administration while still performing in red states.
Why are we still here?
Yeah, this is real. Publicly announcing you're saying no to the most pro-LGBT president/admin in history to make a quick, vague social media point. Casa? Something else? but consistently performing in states with actual active anti-LGBT laws in place is a unique choice. Ah! Sorry. Let me collect myself. Let me just collect myself, okay. Why don't you put his dick further down your throat? Sorry, I need to collect myself. I need to be nice. Excuse me. First of all, I will agree that yes, she was a bit vague within her last point. Now yes, Biden has done a bit to help the LGBTQ community, but newsflash, we are not the only marginalized community that exists. I know it may seem like that because you live in your little bubble of blue in whatever fucking fuck-ass city you live in, but it's not like that everywhere for everyone. Yeah, I was able to change my gender marker on my social security the other day without any written proof from a doctor because of a policy that the Biden administration enacted. Thank you, Biden. But that doesn't mean that tons of people inside of our own country and outside of this country aren't still suffering, with a lot of that suffering being the direct result of the Biden administration. The saddest part about this post is just the insane ignorance and privilege. Are you that naive that you seriously believe that these queer folk in red states are suddenly safer because of a few policies that Biden enacted? Should Chappell have to bow down to American bureaucracy because Biden has done a few good things? I really wanted to talk about this criticism that she received because it genuinely does deeply upset me on a personal level. Do you think that queer people in states like Florida just suddenly stop existing because Ronald DeSantis decided to pass some of the most anti-LGBTQ laws in this country? Like I said, this is personal for me because I live in a very isolated and rural area. I already suffer from a lack of opportunities here. How dare you suggest that queer performers abandon us who live in areas like this? She's literally from a trailer park in Missouri, and you're telling her not to perform in those places?
She's performing in the capital of North Carolina, the state that passed the original bathroom bill, tomorrow,
But go off, queen. And who do you think she's performing for there?
Which I think a lot of people on the coasts kind of, you know, put all Midwesterners in one type of category. But there are drag queens, there are people who are trans, there are massive queer communities that are just kind of hidden away in these teeny tiny towns, and I feel like that's who my real community is, and I feel like that's what the community feels like at the shows. All the people who maybe aren't allowed to be out and proud all the time.
Right. This criticism shouldn't even be classified as that because it's so bad faith. Now, on the other end of this example, Chappell recently canceled 2 of her already sparse shows in Europe to perform, allegedly, at the VMAs instead, leaving fans who planned to see her at those shows devastated. A lot of people found it strange that Chappell would ask her fans to treat her with respect, but would then turn around and do something like this in return. To be clear, I don't know if her label is pushing her to take advantage of this blow up in order to milk her for all she's worth. Horrible choice of words. Or if Chappell is just being disingenuous about not wanting to be famous, but I'm not going to speculate on it because I don't know the true reasoning why she canceled these shows. She said that it was for scheduling conflicts, and that's why people have alleged that the scheduling conflict was the VMAs. Despite all of this, I do think that a lot of people are using this poor decision, let's be clear, to jump on a hate wagon for Chappell Roan. I do also 100% believe that some of the hate that she's getting is due to the fact that she is a woman, and women are known for being called all sorts of things for being assertive and blunt in what they're saying. Hey, it's happened to me before. I've been called it all. What I do truly believe, though, is that a large reason as to why Chappell has responded to her fans' behavior so bluntly is because it's very new and overwhelming for her. I probably wouldn't respond well either, to be honest. I'm not saying that she hasn't handled it well, per se, but I think that it's pretty obvious that she's not used to this newfound fame at all. Listen, I get a YouTube video that gets over 100,000 views, and I'm positively, absolutely shitting myself all day. I think that I could maybe handle fame if it was gradual, but I couldn't imagine being thrusted into this position with zero prerequisite. In September 2023, Chappell Roan opened the tour for her debut album, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, in Roseville, California, at the Goldfield Trading Post, a venue that holds 600 people. Last Friday night, late July in Seattle, she held a court before a festival crowd of 10,000 at the Capitol Hill block party.
I just want to be honest with the crowd, and I just feel like I just feel a little off today because I think that my career has just kind of gone really fast, and it's really hard to keep up. And so I just, just being honest that I'm just having a hard time today.
On August 19th, Chappell took to TikTok to express her frustration and even fear at her newfound fame and what has come with it.
I need you to answer questions. Just answer my questions for a second. If you saw a random woman on the street, would you yell at her from the car window? Would you harass her in public? Would you go up to a random lady and say, "Can I get a photo with you?" And she's like, "No, what the fuck?" And then you get mad at this random lady? Would you be offended if she says no to your time because she has her own time? Would you stalk her family? Would you follow her around? Would you try to dissect her life and bully her online? This is a lady you don't know, and she doesn't know you at all. Would you assume that she's a good person? Assume she's a bad person? Would you assume everything you read about her online is true? I'm a random bitch. You're a random bitch. Just think about that for a second, okay? I don't care that abuse and harassment, stalking, whatever, is a normal thing to do to people who are famous or a little famous, whatever. I don't care that it's normal. I don't care that this crazy type of behavior comes along with the job, the career field I've chosen. That does not make it okay. That doesn't make it normal. It doesn't mean I want it. It doesn't mean that I like it. I don't want whatever the fuck you think you're supposed to be entitled to whenever you see a celebrity. I don't give a fuck if you think it's selfish of me to say no for a photo or for your time or for a hug. That's not normal. That's weird. It's weird how people think that you know a person just because you see them online or you listen to the art they make. That's fucking weird. I'm allowed to say no to creepy behavior, okay?
The onset of social media has exacerbated our access to celebrities, our sense of ownership, our entitlement, our sense that they really almost owe us something, Theron said. There's something kind of implicit in the social agreement with social media that maybe they do owe us something. They're making money off of us.
When I'm not on, literally not doing somersaults.
Yeah.
I'm not clocked in. I'm not
Yeah.
at work right now.
Yeah.
So if you think that I'm rude, bitch, are you gonna get mad at your barista who you see at the mall? And you're like, why are you being nice to?
You're not acting the way that I saw you act on the stage at Gov Ball.
Why don't you ask about my
aren't you
day
doing that?
anymore? Why don't you ask how I'm doing anymore? It's like, bitch, I'm not
I'm
not at work.
Yeah, they feel very entitled to you
Yeah.
as a person once they feel like they know you very well, which is upsetting.
A lot of people came out, another poor choice of words for this context, with their support for her. But there were also quite a lot of people who were upset about what she had to say in these videos.
She doesn't know that being famous comes with lots of sacrifices? So a fan asking you to take a pic is harassment now? LMAO. I don't care what y'all gonna say, but she's not ready to become an artist. You have to pay for fame. It doesn't come for free. ...
Yeah, Chappell is definitely suffering from a lack of infinite prefaces for all of her videos she's posted. Hey, it happens to me all the time. I leave one thing out of a video and then I get people commenting that I should kill myself. So yeah, that's basically the internet. But why should we accept that it's this way? Let's discuss. It's clear to me that she posted these videos coming from a place of anger and distress, and I think that that is completely understandable. But I also think that people have been really misrepresenting what she said in these videos. In the first video, I personally don't think that Chappell is claiming that people should treat her like a normal and random person, because at this point, she's not. And I think she knows that she's not. Maybe she's just not compartmentalized her fame yet, but I do think it's kind of obvious in these videos that she's drawing the comparison to make a point that no one, famous or not, should have people invade their space and harass them and their family. I really don't think that's that crazy of a statement to make, and it's concerning to me that people are going so far to defend this kind of behavior because it just, comes with the territory. I think that in her second video, she does clarify her point a bit. I think she's clearly trying to draw a line in the sand between her and her fans. It's obvious that Chappell does not think that her fans are entitled to her in a certain sense. Obviously, this is jarring for people because this expectation has existed since the beginning of celebrity culture, but here's the thing. Why do you think that if you meet a celebrity that you're a fan of in public, that they have to take a picture with you, or that they have to talk to you? Is it because you really love them? Really support them? You're their number one fan? Yeah, I can see why this expectation exists, but I can also completely understand why some celebrities like Chappell wouldn't want to meet this expectation. I think it's okay to wish for a lot of people to know you and appreciate you for your art, but why does that have to also mean that you can't live without being afraid of everything you do for the rest of your life? I don't think that Chappell was conflating taking a picture with a normal fan to actual harassment. I think she's just dealing with a lot of new and stressful shit and just wanted to rant. And maybe it just didn't come out that well. I really don't think that it did come out wrong though. I think it's pretty obvious that she's talking about the extreme cases of fans. And if you want my honest opinion, going up to celebrity when they're clearly not in an environment to meet fans, it is kind of weird. It is. We have to accept it, okay? It's weird. It may not be considered extreme, like verbal or physical harassment, but it's still kind of weird and invasive, right? Come on. We have to accept this. I think that if any of us had all this shit coming at us all at once, good and bad, you'd end up feeling really defensive and afraid too. In all honesty, some celebrities live and crave the constant attention, but others don't. And I think that Chappell definitely falls into that latter category. Why can't people be well known without this expectation that they're going to be harassed for the rest of their life? While I do think that the people who were trying to make this point were being really rude about it, there is a point to be made about Chappell wanting fame, but not wanting all the bad stuff that comes with it. The question I have to ask though is, did she really ever want this level of fame? I mean, that's the assumption. Everyone wants this, right? But everyone doesn't want this. Even if she did want to be super ultra mega famous, I don't see why people are so overly defensive about her calling out behavior that shouldn't be normalized within celebrity culture. Why is it a bad thing for her to call these behaviors out? Why should she just accept it? I think because she is someone who is so new to her fame, this is all coming at her so quickly, and I think she may be calling it out more than celebrities who have lived with this for a really long time because it is so new to her. It is so foreign. It's so like, what the fuck? Hey, I would be feeling the same way. A few days after her viral TikToks were posted, she made a lengthy statement on Instagram clarifying her thoughts on the matter. For the past 10 years, I've been going nonstop to build my project, and it's come to the point that I need to draw lines and set boundaries. I've wanted to be an artist for a very, very long time. I've been in too many non-consensual physical and social interactions, and I just need to lay it out and remind you, women don't owe you shit. I chose this career path because I love music and art and honoring my inner child. I do not accept harassment of any kind because I chose this path, nor do I deserve it. When I'm on stage, when I'm performing, when I'm in drag, when I'm at a work event, when I'm doing press, I am at work. Any other circumstance, I am not in work mode. I am clocked out. I don't agree with the notion that I owe a mutual exchange of energy, time, or attention to people I do not know, do not trust, or creep me out just because they're expressing admiration. Women do not owe you a reason why they don't want to be touched or talked to. This has nothing to do with the gratitude and love I feel for my community, for the people who respect my boundaries, and for the love I feel from every person who lifts me up and has stuck with me to help the project get to where it is now. I'm specifically talking about predatory behavior, disguised as super fan behavior that has become normalized because of the way women who are well known have been treated in the past. If you're still asking, well, if you didn't want this to happen, then why did you choose a career where you knew you wouldn't be comfortable with the outcome of success? Understand this. I embrace the success of the project, the love I feel, and the gratitude I have. What I do not accept are creepy people, being touched and being followed. The situation is similar to the idea that if a woman wears a short skirt and gets harassed or catcalled, she shouldn't have worn the short skirt in the first place. It is not the woman's duty to suck it up and take it. I want to love my life, be outside, giggle with my friends, go to the movie theater, feel safe, and do all the things every single person deserves to do. Please stop touching me. Please stop being weird to my family and friends. I feel more love than I ever have in my life. I feel the most unsafe I've ever felt in my life. After reading that statement, I think that anyone who is misconstruing her words are either willfully ignorant or just straight up an asshole. What Roan's asking for is kind of a big cultural unlearning of how we see the people of our adoration and this relationship the internet has created. She's kind of asking like, let's undo that. And that's a big ask, but also a valid thing to ask, said Kate Lindsay, a journalist and an author of the internet culture newsletter Embedded. Not that long ago, Doja Cat called out weird behavior from her fans, which led to a lot of backlash directed towards her. "You would be nothing without us," was a common line directed at her during that time in 2023. Feels like forever ago. Oh, where does the time go? Doja Cat wasn't really wrong though, she just wasn't the nicest going about it, and it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. This was compounded with everything else that she was doing at that time though, and I think that unfortunately Doja Cat's actions sort of muddied people's reactions to what she was saying at the time. Personally, while I'd like my favorite artists, singers, or otherwise to be kind people, in all honesty, it would take a lot for me to straight up never consume something from a celebrity's catalog ever again. Why should I care if they don't like interacting with fans in public if the chance of me meeting them is lower than the chance of a solar flare wiping out all life on Earth, right? It could still happen though, right? There are so many examples of celebs enduring terrifying behavior from fans that it would be way too much to cover in one video. A very extreme example that a lot of people have been bringing up within this whole situation is the murder of singer Christine Grimmie. Christine appeared on The Voice in 2014 and finished the show in 3rd place. On June 10th, 2016, she was performing in Orlando, Florida, and was set to meet up with her fans after her performance. One male fan who came up to meet her and give her a hug ended up shooting her 3 times right there. She was taken to the hospital but died soon after. A friend of the murderer said that he had an unhealthy obsession with Christine. Christine was only 22 when she was murdered. While you may think that a quick conversation with your favorite celebrity isn't really asking much of them, to them it is everything. They don't know you, yet they're expected to act like your friend constantly. You're not just one fan to them. If they let in the wrong fan, it can lead to horrifying tragedies like this. You literally can never know how a fan is going to act in your presence. Why do you expect normal people, because that's what celebrities are, to be perfect characters who are always on for everyone? Being a celebrity has never been normal, but in the age of social media, it couldn't be farther from that. Celebrities are now their own personal brand online, and I think more is expected of them now than ever before. Celebrities' humanity is stripped from them, and they're treated like nothing more than the image of a person rather than actual human beings. Other than the negative physical interactions that celebrities face from their fans, they also experience extreme online bullying and harassment. Believing that you know them is still very, very real in online spaces as well. I go crazy when one person makes up something about me that isn't true. Millions? Oh, I would absolutely become the fucking Joker. And if one person is mean to me in public, I get home and put on my clown makeup and slowly dance with myself in the bathroom. Thousands of people being mean to me in public? Celebrities are just people with jobs. I know that it will be hard, and I know that it's probably going to take a long time for people to change their mindset around celebrities, but I'm glad that Chappell Roan, a new and upcoming celebrity, is trying to do that. If she's not performing or doing some sort of fan event, then why do you think that you're entitled to her time? I know that it's a bit different because she creates music, and that could lead to people forming a deeper connection to her and her job than, say, with someone who works at Home Depot, you know. Hopefully you're not following your cashier out of the store in hopes of getting a picture with them, but that's the exact point she's trying to make. She's just a normal person, not an object. On the grander scheme of things, people's unhealthy relationships with celebrities and influencers online are only going to become increasingly worse if we don't deal with the increasing loneliness and isolation that so many of us report feeling. By some estimates, 51% of Americans have been in parasocial relationships, though only 16% will admit to it. These relationships are not always terrifyingly negative, although they can tie to negative aspects of someone's life. Parasocial relationships can help adolescents, in particular, form an identity and develop autonomy, according to a 2017 study. Parasocial relationships can expand social networks and offer a sense of companionship in plenty of other ways, and these bonds can decrease loneliness. Aren't these relationships just replacements for real connections, though? While the image of parasocial relationships doesn't always have to be dark and depressing, with the image popping up in your mind of a basement dweller who likes Taylor Swift a little bit too much, these relationships can still definitely produce a lot more harm than good. I completely understand that parasocial relationships could be positive in a lot of regards, but they can't replace actually being with people in real life. I'll use my own pathetic life as an example. I do not have a lot of friends. I just don't. Watching certain YouTubers' videos gives me a sort of comfort and they make me feel less alone. But at the end of the day, I am still alone. Nothing could be more reasonable or natural than that people who are isolated and lonely should seek sociability and love wherever they can find it. It is only when the parasocial relationship becomes a substitute for autonomous social participation, when it proceeds in absolute defiance of objective reality, that it can be regarded as pathological. The human brain is meant to desire to be social, most likely due to our survival. The US Department of Health and Human Services said that the physical health consequences of poor or insufficient connection include a 29% increased risk of heart disease, a 32% increased risk of stroke, and a 50% increased risk of developing dementia for older adults. Additionally, lacking social connection increases risk of premature death by more than 60%. If we're lonely, it makes a lot of sense that we would connect with people who we only see on a screen. Our brains can't really tell the difference between screen and real life. People may also seek out parasocial relationships just because they're easier to engage with. There's just one side. Again, this just seems like a replacement for real life relationships. Now, obviously, in an ideal world, we would have a balance between our real friends and our fake friends, but a lot of us don't. These relationships can feel so real that when our favorite celeb or YouTuber stops posting online, it may feel like a breakup, with similar feelings to an actual breakup with a loved one in real life. We, in America at least, are becoming increasingly more isolated. This could be due to so many different things. Distrust in others, lack of third places and reliable infrastructure, an obsession with a hyper-consumerist capitalist and work lifestyle with no time off, as well as divides between us ideologically, plus more, can all be causing an increase in loneliness in people. We have more tools than we ever have to connect with people from any part of the world, yet we're still lonely. Social media is only a replacement for real-life connections. By the way, let me know if you'd be interested in seeing a video from me talking exclusively about loneliness, because I find it to be very interesting. Chappell is unfortunately just one more victim in this cog of celebrity obsession that doesn't seem like it's stopping anytime soon. In fact, in a lot of weird ways, it seems like younger generations like Gen Z and Gen Alpha are regressing almost in the social department. For example, thinking that using gay slurs is funny again. It's not. It only is when I do it. After all of this, I'm sure you're interested in how to recognize whether you're becoming a little bit too parasocial with someone you watch online. Me? Okay. Do you seek to know everything about someone online even though you don't actually know them? Do you think about them often despite the fact that they never think about you? Do you choose watching their videos over hanging out with your real friends, if you have any, despite the fact that they will never hang out with you? Do you often project what you want or need onto them in spite of what they may actually be saying? Do you get defensive or possessive when other people talk about your favorite creator? If you answered yes to 2 or more of these questions, you may need to self-reflect a bit, my friend. No, not my friend. Fuck. My number on a screen? Oh no, that sounds terrible. The only time you may actually have a chance of having a relationship with one of your favorite creators is if you're 12 and they're 30 with at least 1 million subscribers. I think that examining these relationships we have with people online and working on building real life ones will greatly benefit us. I know it may sound harsh, but you don't know your favorite artist. It's okay to connect with someone, but you have to keep a close eye on it to make sure that connection doesn't go farther than that. I'm big on self-reflection, man. I mean, one of my favorite things to do when I self-reflect is actually listen to BTS music. I've been listening to them since I was 14. Their music just, it means a lot to me. I'm thinking of listening to them right now. Oh, but, I'll have to cut the video here then, because of copyright. Okay, well, I guess this is the end of the video. That's it for me, right? Okay, I'll just end the video here then. All right, bye guys.
I miss you.
What the fuck, Rick? What are you doing here?
I've got your delivery.
It's Jimin's new album.
Jeez, sorry, dude.
You can leave now. Just because you're my cousin doesn't mean you can just barge in my house whenever you want with a package. Bye.
You weren't supposed to see that.
Alright, that's it for me and that's it for this video. Let me know what you think about parasocial relationships and Chappell Roan down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me, you can subscribe. I post comedy, commentary, video, essay type styles once a week. So if that sounds like your thing, make sure to subscribe and turn notification bells so you know when I post a video. Special shout out to all of my Patreon members who are on the Alpha tier and above. If you join my Alpha tier, you will get a verbal shout out by me at the end of all of my videos. So thank you to Ben, Cap the Time Lord, and Olivia Schutt. I really, really appreciate all of your continued support, and thank you so much to all of my patrons. Yeah, I really, really hope you all enjoyed this video, but more than that, I really, really hope I see you in the next video. I better see you there. You better be watching intently. Don't close your eyes. Don't breathe. You'll be there, right? Okay, bye.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you want